e te iwi.
The undisputed for those in attendance and UFC fans watching around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Mexico!
When I first saw Francis, I was like, what in the world is that?
Kia ora e te iwi, no mai hara mai ki UFC on Sky, Koravinda huni a tōku ingoa. Joining me as always, Dan Hooker. Kia ora e hoa.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Look, we've got a few things to talk about today. We'll start with this UFC fight night, which saw the former champion, Brandon Moreno, get the win over Steve Erceg. Congratulations to him. Unfortunate for Steve Erceg just letting that fight get away by decision in Mexico City. But this got me thinking about where this leaves our Kai Kara-France, and I always bring it back when it's our Kiwis involved, about where this will leave Kai Kara-France in the bigger picture in terms of this potential fight with Alessandro Pantoja. So just wanted to start with, how has Kai been going in the gym? Because obviously on social media it looks like he's training like a demon at the moment.
No, yes, he's in the gym every day. He's a guy that gets in there and he applies 100% of himself to it when he's there. So he's ticking all the boxes as of now, and he's training like there's a fight on the horizon. So I definitely think there's going to be something big, and if you're looking at the division and how it all stacks up, you'd have to see that Kai Kara-France is going to be the next one in line for a title shot. So I think we're just waiting on a date until that all gets aligned and announced. Kai Kara-France for Pantoja, and then we have our second, he gets a second title shot at the UFC Championship.
Yeah, it is super exciting because Kai Kara-France has been kind of waiting in the wings since his fight or his win in Perth when he defeated Steve Erceg, most spectacular knockout, may I add. And he has said nothing less, nothing short. Moving forward, it will only be a title fight. Do you feel that is warranted?
Oh, I definitely feel it's warranted, especially over a guy like Erceg. Like where he did very well this weekend to show that he's still a contender in the division. Like his last three fights have been for the title, Pantoja for Moreno, and then Kai Kara-France. So he's been on an incredibly tough road, and so it just again kind of reinforced how big of a knockout that was for Kai Kara-France to get that win over Steve Erceg.
Let's talk about that. Kai Kara-France in the flyweight division has one of, if not, actually I think he does have the highest knockout rate in the flyweight division. And when we look at, the stock of flyweight fighters, they're all obviously the lightest, they're the smallest fighters, and Kai Kara-France is still smaller than them, but the power he can generate to be able to get these knockouts, what is it about Kai Kara-France that can generate this power?
Yeah, heavy right hand, and it's something that he's developed over a long period of time, and it's I feel like it's like a real trained instinct that he has. Like he spent a lot of time developing. Like I came up with Kai Kara-France in New Zealand, and he came up very hard. He was thrown in the deep end. I believe his second pro fight, he fought a 25 fight WEC veteran that they flew over from America. His first fight, like we see him fighting here, I think he weighed in low 60 kilos. The other bloke cut down to 70 kilos, cut down to lightweight. So I think his first pro fight was in the lightweight division. Like Kai Kara-France got thrown in the deep end off the bat, and the kid learned how to swim. Then he spent a long time developing his skills in Asia, where he was fighting incredibly consistently, and I feel like that's where he learnt how to knock people out. You just fight every weekend. Like he was boxing in local boxing stadiums there in Thailand every weekend just to cover his rent. So he learnt how to knock these people out through just being so active in competition. That's one thing as a fighter. If you have two longer breaks between your fights, you don't get that consistent improvement. But he was fighting every single week. He was fighting professional MMA, once a month or every 2 weeks. And he really honed those skills and honed that knockout power. So it is a trained instinct. Then he obviously, Ultimate Fighter, UFC, and we see him now competing at the highest level and still translating that knockout power at the highest level.
Absolutely. He's doing a lot of things that a lot of the other flyweights we're not seeing from them, which makes this fight super exciting. When we were talking about sometimes it's not about who you're facing or who you're defeating, but how you're doing it. And Kai Kara-France is definitely up there as one.
Well, you can see it with a lot of the guys coming through. If you have, like when the Jorge Masvidal makes a huge tear, like you get a big knockout over Darren Till, you run across the ring, you get a flying knockout in 5 seconds. Like you put on incredible highlight reel performances, like the Steve Erceg knockout. Then you get a title shot, because for the UFC, they're obviously putting title fights on pay-per-view cards. They need to sell pay-per-views. And you edging out a split decision doesn't make the fans that excited about it. But if they see a guy with that kind of knockout power, they see just clips and knockouts after knockouts after knockouts, people are far more inclined to tune into the fight and to get along and to pay for those pay-per-views.
Yeah. And you taking us down a walk down memory lane in Kai's career, you two do go back quite a fair way, went to the same school, I believe. Yeah,
with some eggs. Oh man, Kai's been in the gym since I think he was like 15, 16 years old. I was in the gym with him out in West Auckland at Strikeforce. So yeah, I've seen him. We still call him the kid, even though he's 31 years old. He's still a teenager in my eyes, but he's more mature than me.
Just a little bit. But and what have you made of that? Obviously, you're seeing him from being this kid to this potential title fight. Now, what have you made of this career that he's had?
Oh, incredible to build it up out of he didn't have a head start above everyone else. The kid was thrown in the absolute deep end. He fought the toughest competition from the earliest stage of his careers, and you see it now, like the next generation of guys that coming through, where there's a lot of cherry-picking opponents and getting nice polished records without like the sport is there changing. But Kai Kara-France was chucked in the deep end, given the hardest competition off the bat from the earliest stages of his career. He really got thrown in the deep end, and the kid learned how to swim.
Very, it's great to see, and very excited for him. Not if, when this fight comes to fruition. And we did have a chat with Pantoja in 2024, just before his fight with Kai Asakura, and here were his thoughts ahead of a potential fight against Kai Kara-France.
Hey mate, so obviously down here in New Zealand, we're big Kai Kara-France supporters. Is that a potential next matchup for you if you get your hand raised this weekend?
Yeah, but that's beautiful fight. What he did with Erceg is beautiful. But I think of course, I fight with the Kai Kara-France in the ultimate fight. That's a very different situation, I think everybody was super excited for watching that fight. But I'm agree with you, and I believe 100% Kai Kara-France have the chance to fight for the belt. And I hope I'm the guy to fight with him. You know, I hope they hold this belt to have the opportunity to fight with the Kai Kara-France.
Kapai, exciting times ahead. But what Anzac is locked in, Dan Hooker, is the former featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski coming up against Diego Lopez at UFC 314 in Miami, and you'll be taking the trip over.
Oh, I'm gone. I get my trip to Miami one way or another. Yeah, I'm going over. I'm pretty sure Israel's going over, and we'll just head over and obviously support Alexander Volkanovski. Yeah, what did you say? 10 consecutive title fights in a row. Tough young competitor against Lopez. It's going to be one heck of a fight, and I can't wait to be sitting cage side and just soaking it up.
Absolutely. Look, talk to us about this relationship with Alexander Volkanovski to get you up out of your seat, get you off your couch, to head over, to make the effort for the bro Alexander. Obviously, he's a big, presence and teammate at City Kickboxing, as well as what he does at Freestyle MMA.
You know how hard it is to get me off my couch.
Exactly. He lives here, actually.
I live in my couch. But I have to get over there and support Alex and just be like, this will be the hugest fight. I feel like his career, to get back after these two hard fights, the toughest time in his career, and to not only get through that, but to be on the other side of it and to be in that moment where he's able to raise that title again and prove that he's still the man and still the champ. I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, and I mean, thinking about this fight, the headline act, it was, we all thought, Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. That wasn't to be, as Topuria came away and gave Diego Lopez an opportunity of a lifetime. He probably wasn't expecting any time soon. But I just want to concentrate on Volk for a little minute. You've alluded to this will be his 10th consecutive title fight. You know, not just a UFC fight, but a title fight. He hasn't not been in a title fight since 2019 when he fought Jose Aldo. That was ages ago. So how much does that work in Volk's benefit, seeing as it's not only a championship mindset, but the experience as well?
Yeah, obviously huge amount of championship experience, like going to 5 rounds. There's not many people that are more tactical at that, and he has an incredible team around him. But yeah, Diego Lopez is a hungry young kid with nothing to lose. Like, he's coming into this fight just bull in a china shop. You go and when he fights, he's incredibly fearless. He has strong boxing. He likes to stand his ground, and he's not really worried about defending the takedowns and then being able to show his defensive wrestling skill. I feel like the footwork is the part where I see Alex having a lot of advantage, like his ability to fight from both stances. He can move all ways. I feel like Alexander has the better footwork, and if he can slow the pressure of Diego Lopez, he might be able to give himself a bit of space to room and chip down the young, hungry lion.
Absolutely. We've seen him. He came on the scene 2022. I think he's only had one loss in his time in the UFC so far, but big wins over fighters like Danny, Gabe, Brian Ortega, which has given him this chance. What is it that you like about Diego Lopez that he brings?
Oh, the action of the kid, and he comes in, he's young. That's why we just love watching these young, fearless fighters, because they come in there and they throw. Like, when he gets in, it's fearless. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, when you haven't been knocked out a bunch, or you haven't broken a bunch of bones, or you haven't been beaten black and blue after fights. Like, you can come in fearless because you have no countering argument that you're not indestructible or unbeatable. But then you come up against a guy like Alexander Volkanovski, who's a true tactician, has one of the best corners in the game. Craig Jones, he'll go, I think Eugene will be going over there, Joe Lopez. Like, he's got an incredibly tactical team behind him, breaking down every single aspect of Diego Lopez's game.
Diego Lopez is quite the weapon. He wins his fights not only, it's decisions, it's KOs, it's submissions. He's got skills all over the place. So it's a great challenge for Volkanovski as well. I wanted to take your mind back. I think it was probably the end of 2024 where all the memes were coming out about Alexander Volkanovski stepping into a fight. When he lost after Ilia Topuria, he was calling for a rematch. And you said, bro, take some time out, relax, take the time that you need. Don't come back too soon. to fully recover and make sure when you come back that you sound and getting the job done. So what are your thoughts? His fight against Topuria was February, and now it's been
I feel like he just turned that too quickly around from the Islam Makhachev fight. I don't think Ilia Topuria did anything that incredible. I feel like he just fought, and I've been there. When I fought Paul Felder, and then I fought Dustin Poirier kind of back to back, and then rushed into the Michael Chandler fight. It's not like Michael Chandler did anything that was lightning incredible. It's just like you need to learn that as a veteran fighter, and there's only one way to learn it, and that's the hard way. Is just the body can only take so much punishment before it needs time to fully recoup. And especially if you're fighting these 5-round fights, you need to be putting a good amount of stretch, and it takes longer to recover from a 5-round fight, especially what Volkanovski's been going through, 5-round championship training camps, and just putting them so consistently, because he has been one of the most consistent champions for the UFC, stepping up to the plate, fighting, jumping in on short notice. Like, he just needed a bit more time between these fights to let his body fully recover.
Absolutely. I think we've spoken about the Mount Rushmore of featherweights in the past. I think it was Conor, Holloway, Aldo and Volkanovski, and I still feel like his face is still etched in that stone, and this is just another way for him to really solidify that. So hoping all the best for Alexander Volkanovski. The part that I love the most is how everyone comes together, our Anzac fighters, our New Zealanders, our Australians, and Volkanovski is one of those fighters that brings the two nations together, I feel. How much does that mean, like, to go over there and support, our region as well as Alexander Volkanovski? Because this is our region on display in Miami, right?
Yeah, like, these are our boys. This is our generation, like Israel, Volk, me, Kai, Carlos. Like, we really do get behind each other, because it is important, because when it is your moment and you look over in the crowd, or you're there during fight week and all the boys are there, they're in the changing rooms, or they're at the weigh-ins and they're yelling out, or they're in those last hard training sessions and the weight cut, and the boys are just there giving you that little bit of energy. It does give you a lot of strength looking around and seeing all these other great fighters there to support you. It does give you a lot of that extra motivation, or that little bit of edge you might need in a tough fight.
Absolutely. And also at the end of lunch.
You'll be able to hear me.
Oh,
you will be able.
Sure we will. Don't even need to mic him up.
You'll be able to hear me carrying on, swearing away like nobody's business.
In Miami, of all places. Okay, good luck to everyone travelling with you. But it will be a great fight to watch indeed. The whole card as a whole, that is UFC 314 whānau next Sunday. While we're here sitting with a UFC lightweight on this card, co-main event, 5-rounder, Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, heck of a fight. It's going to be an incredible fight. Obviously, Michael Chandler, very heavy-handed boxer and strong takedowns. He was kind of... I thought he'd be able to do a bit of wrestling against Charles Oliveira. So this is a great opportunity to see how Paddy Pimblett's jiu-jitsu stacks up against those elite guys in the division. Is he able to drag Michael Chandler to the mat? Which I think he will be wanting to do. Just fire his kicks from long range, and then get in on the takedown and attempt to drag Michael Chandler down to the mat and ride his back just like Charles Oliveira did. I'm sure Michael Chandler knows that that's what's coming. Obviously, Paddy Pimblett in the past has shown his susceptibility to that left hook.
Yeah.
Like, he does fight with his chin pretty high in the air and does get clipped on the chin by a lot lesser fighters with that left hook, like Jared Gordon and stuff like that. I feel like if Michael Chandler's able to exploit that left hook, Paddy will be a bit into trouble, but this is a very exciting fight.
Yes, of course. All the chat around Michael Chandler before all of this was him, fighting Conor McGregor, which wasn't to be. So, a big performance from Michael Chandler would be, desired in spectacular fashion. Paddy Pimblett, a fan favourite, especially, obviously, over in the UK. What an opportunity for him, because I feel like that bracket of lightweight are just dying to chomp at the bit of fighters like yourself and the Michael Chandlers, and to try and Paddy's done it incredibly smart. Like, there's not critiquing the way Paddy's done it either way about it. Like, I don't know why
like the fans think you want to beat number 12 and then 11, then 10, then 9. Like no one in the lightweight division will be able to do that. Like you'd never be able to race to the title through that. You're trying to fight the least amount of times and get the most tactical fights possible. Paddy Pimblett obviously got a big win over Bobby Green, who was sitting number 14, 15 at that time. And then to go Bobby Green, Michael Chandler, and then he's kind of going to hold his fingers and kind of pray for a title shot, which would be a bit of a big ask. But obviously, Paddy Pimblett's a huge superstar on the microphone. And I feel like the UFC will want to race him to a title shot because they know how valuable he'll be to that pay-per-view market. The fans love tuning in and listening to Paddy Pimblett.
Where do you see this fight going?
Where do I see it going? I feel like it leans towards Michael Chandler. I feel like just his championship experience and just he's been competing at the highest level for the longest amount of time. Obviously, Paddy Pimblett had a great win last time against Bobby Green, but he has struggled against lesser lightweights in the past. And Michael Chandler is a big step up in competition. We've obviously seen him. People can critique him all they want. You know, he's only got 2 wins in the division and 4 or 5 losses. But it's like, you look, those losses are Dustin Poirier, Gagey, Charles Oliveira. Like he's not fighting middle of the road lightweights. He's fighting the true elites of the division.
Absolutely. And if there's one thing you cannot take away from Michael Chandler is fighting with heart. You wouldn't be able to stop him. Catch that on Sky Arena or Sky Sport Now. Start booking. This weekend, though, it's UFC Fight Night back at the UFC Apex. Josh Emmett up against Lerone Murphy. Do not miss that. The main card kicks off at 1 p.m. Dan Hooker, a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine.
And if we don't see you before Miami,
you'll see me.
I don't even know what to say.
On the TV.
In some way, shape or form. Until next week, whānau mā te wā.
Alexander Volkanovski, without a doubt, the most accomplished featherweight champion of all time.
Returning to the division he has ruled for years.
He looks to add to the legacy as the greatest featherweight of all time. He really is a legend in the game.
But Diego Lopez has the chance to chase greatness.
Oh, Diego Lopez!
He comes out guns blazing, and it's very terrifying.
One of the best fighters on the planet.
But he has been on a serious mission.
He wants to become a legend.
But to become a legend, you have to take one out.
This fight's going to be incredible.
Iron Michael Chandler!
He is an absolute animal.
Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. This man knows how to hype up a crowd.
I'll blow the roof off.
I'll see you every time.
The anticipation for UFC debuts does not get much bigger than this.
It's been a long time coming. Fans all been waiting.
He wants to test himself at this level.
Be careful what you ask for.
Yair Rodriguez, this guy is so dangerous.